Welcome to a short video chronicling some of my travels and experiences throughout the largest country in South America, Brazil. Ranked as the 5th largest country in the world by land, Brazil is regarded one of the most biodiverse countries on the planet, both through its rich culture and natural beauty. After crossing over from neighboring Uruguay, this was my first exposure to the rhythm of this unique place. For such a huge, dynamic, and multicultural country, it really opened my eyes to new experiences far and wide as I made my way around. Welcome to Brazil. At the time of making this video, Brazil has implemented new visa requirements for US, Canadian, and Australian tourists. You'll need to pay and apply now online before traveling, but it still guarantees a stay of up to 90 days and is valid for a 10-year period. This might come as no surprise, but the biggest hurdle for me in Brazil was the language barrier. Portuguese is kind of a cute language to listen to, but was also quite challenging to learn and put into everyday practice. I usually kept trying to put an A at the end of words, hoping something would stick. English just isn't common at all in Brazil, and my knowledge of Spanish was also a hit or miss. But in hindsight, that's what travel is all about, opening your mind to new, oftentimes funny situations. The other issue I had is the absence of a CPF number that Brazil requires for just about everything. It's a standard tax ID issued for citizens, but for travelers looking to get simple things like SIM cards, parking, concert tickets, etc., it can be quite a headache without one. There are ways to work around it and even apply for a CPF, but that's something I'll have to look more into on my next trip back. Brazil is pretty well developed in terms of infrastructure, having the largest economy in Latin America and the 7th largest GDP purchasing power in the world. It's a major player in global trade too, with projections for continued growth in agriculture, manufacturing, and energy. However, like a lot of countries, it's not immune to broad income inequality. I unfortunately saw this firsthand in impoverished comunidades, or favelas, that are more or less characterized by poverty and limited access to public services. But despite all that, Brazilians are some of the most optimistic and positive people I've met in my travels. There's a sort of undeniable passion and energy that holds true, with a love for life and celebration. And man, do they love to dance. It's something that's engraved into their way of life, and I don't think I've had a day go by where I didn't see at least a dozen people or so dancing just because. It's all relative in the end, but I appreciate expression in every form, even if I don't know the songs personally, to uplift others and make the community stronger. This is especially apparent during Carnival, with millions of people coming together to dance samba, play instruments, and just enjoy life. I was in Rio for my very first Carnival, and the parade of various costumes, choreographed dancers, and intricate floats was really something special to watch. It's an intensely cultural celebration that blends religious tradition with African, indigenous, and European influences. The rest of the city sets up these block parties, or blocos, which are a lot of fun but can sometimes feel overwhelming. They bring people together to drink and dance for as long as your body can handle. There are some pretty spectacular natural viewpoints in Brazil, especially in Rio de Janeiro. Be prepared to sweat a lot, try some new things, and step outside your comfort zone if you want to reap the rewards from the top. There's also opportunities to do some paragliding and hang gliding if you're into it. Probably the best chance to feel like a bird among the many mountaintops. I'm still kind of mad at myself for not seizing this opportunity when I had the chance, purely based on the price tag, but it's something I will definitely have to come back for in the future. Food in Brazil is also very varied and flavorful, depending on your specific taste and dietary restrictions. There are also lots of Japanese options, given the country's history of Asian immigration, primarily from Japan, China, and Korea. I stuck to some basic stuff, usually having acai once or twice a day. And of course, there are the reliable fried options, which have become a staple for cheap, quick bites in Brazil. There are two styles of martial arts I wanted to try while in Brazil. The first being capoeira, a centuries-old art form brought primarily from West and Central Africa to blend music, acrobatic movement with self-defense. It's challenging and really exciting to watch when two practitioners get into the flow state during a circle round, called a roda. The second martial art is jiu-jitsu, which has reached worldwide influence and incorporated into modern-day MMA. Brazil produces a lot of amazing fighters year after year, and it was a blast getting to learn the micro-adjustments and pressure points of this submission art form. I can't say I did too well during the live rounds, as I was submitted in various holds time and time again, but I picked up a few lessons of what to do and what not to do if I ever need to use this incredible martial art.
Yo. Hey, Patty.
Finally, it goes without saying that Brazil is blessed with some of the best beaches in South America. With around 7,500 kilometers of coastline and roughly 2,100 beaches in total, it's hard to settle on just one. I really enjoyed exploring a bunch in states like Santa Catarina, Paraná, and of course, Rio de Janeiro. A place that stood out to me, though, would have to be Cabo Frio, about 2.5 hours east of Rio de Janeiro. The water here and the snowy powder sand is something you would only see in remote islands of the Pacific. Needless to say, it attracts a lot of people to come and experience it for themselves. Depending how you feel about crowds, I understand the absolute appeal of places like this. I just hope it stays relatively preserved for many future generations. So this wraps up Brazil, a warm country with even warmer people, food, music, and beautiful landscapes. In my next video, I head to beautiful Bolivia. Like, comment, and subscribe to follow the journey. See you next time.